Are you experiencing pain, tingling, numbness in the butt, the hip, or the low back? You could have something called dead butt syndrome. This is also called glute amnesia or glute tendinopathy, and it can happen when these muscles, these glute muscles, forget how to turn on, especially if we've been sitting for long periods of time. I'm going to show you 3 exercises today on how to activate these muscles and get them turned on. I'm Anna, physical therapist and holistic practitioner. Let's get started. Before we begin with our first exercise, if you are currently experiencing a lot of pain, you may want to be evaluated by a physical therapist. Let them take a look at you and help to reduce the pain and progress you slowly. So some of these exercises may not be appropriate for you. First exercise is bridging. We're going to be targeting the glute maximus. This is one of our biggest muscles for helping us to get up and down off the floor, go up and down stairs, even for walking. It's a really important muscle. And when we're sitting for long periods of time, or if you have a job where you're in the car, you're driving all day long, these muscles can become really weak, and also the front of the hip can become super tight. So the first exercise is bridging, and it helps to activate the glute maximus as well as open up the front of the hip and stretch out the hip flexors a little bit. So this is a great exercise to do even in the middle of the day. If you've been sitting for long periods of time, it's great to get down on the floor and just do some of these. So to get down, we're going to come down onto our side, and in one piece, roll onto the back and bring the heels almost touching the fingertips. So that's where I like to line up my heels, and the legs are hip distance apart. Bring the arms by the side. We'll find a neutral spine posture. So we are going back and forth between a pelvic tilt and releasing it, and finding that place somewhere in the middle that feels like a neutral spine. It feels comfortable for you. So we're not jammed into the ground and we're not overarching the back. We're somewhere in the middle, and we're going to engage the core here by zippering up, pubic bone to navel, pulling in from the sides. And from here, you're going to contract the glutes and just lift up. So we're lifting up in one piece. We're coming almost, the pelvis and the thighs are almost in one line. What the goal here is to be able to squeeze the glutes, feeling this in the glutes and not in the low back. So we don't want to be overly arched. We don't want to be somewhere down here where it's hard to really get the glutes engaged. We're up somewhere in this level position where we can squeeze the glutes and feel the work being done here and not in the low back. So we're engaging the core, we're contracting the glutes, coming up, and then just lowering down in one piece. So we reach the sacrum to the floor. So we take an inhale. On an exhale, squeeze the glutes and lift. You can inhale at the top, and then exhale, lower down. Inhale, exhale, hold at the top, inhale, and exhale to lower. Inhale, exhale. So we want to do about 10 reps here, and you'll work into doing 2 to 3 sets. Again, this is a great exercise to just start to intersperse during your day if you've been sitting for long periods of time. So we're activating the glutes and waking them up. At the same time, we're opening up the front of the hip that gets tight with sitting as well. So super easy coming up and lowering down. There's all sorts of progressions from here. If you wanted to, you could lift one heel, keeping the pelvis level, lifting the other heel, lifting and lifting and lifting. So you're holding this position, making the glutes work a little bit harder to maintain that level pelvis. and then lower down. For your next exercise, roll onto your side. You can use one arm to support the head, and you're going to bend the knees to about a 45-degree angle and extend that top leg. So what we're going to be focused on here is strengthening the glute medius. This is the muscle that gets the weakest when we are sitting for long periods of time. And by the way, athletes can get this too if they're not utilizing their glutes correctly, especially runners. They can also get this as well. So from here, we will take that top leg and turn it under slightly. So turn the toes slightly toward the floor. Make sure that you are right on top of the pelvis, that you're not rocked back here or that you're not forward, that the pelvis is perpendicular to the floor. And you are engaging the core with a tiny bit of a lift for the under waist, the waist that's closest to the floor. And you're extending that top leg out, turning it slightly in, and we're going to just lift and lower here. So it's lift and lower. Do about 10 reps here, and you should feel this in that outer hip muscle, that gluteus medius muscle. This is a muscle that's responsible for stabilizing our pelvis when we're walking or running, going up and down stairs. Extremely important for posture, and it can also help with back pain. So if this is a weak muscle, it can also be the cause of back pain, hip pain. So really important to keep this one strong. This one helps to target it just a little bit more. So a set of 10, and again, 10 reps, 2 to 3 sets. For the last exercise, we will transition to just bending the knees so that the thighs are in alignment or in line with the rest of the body. And then we'll come up to our forearm, placing the elbow right underneath the shoulder. Now, if you have rotator cuff issues, this would not be an exercise that I would recommend. This particular exercise does activate the glute medius very well. So this is one of the best exercises you can do to help strengthen the glute medius. So make sure that elbow is right underneath the shoulder here, and we'll be using our core tremendously in this exercise too. We want to be lifted out of that shoulder. We don't want to be sunken down. So we're lifting out. The spine is in very good alignment here. It's a pretty straight spine. And again, the thighs are fairly parallel to the rest of the body. So they're not here, they're back here. And you can put your hand on your hip, and from here you just lift up. Just lift up, hold for a few seconds, and then lower down. You can see that this is both a shoulder stability exercise, scap stability exercise, oblique and abdominals, core work, as well as getting that glute medius. You're pressing away from the ground, holding for a few seconds, and then lowering down. You could start with maybe 5 reps, work your way up to 10, do 2 to 3 sets. Remember to do both sides. I hope you enjoyed these exercises today to help prevent dead butt syndrome. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. I also have a free exercise guide for you. I'll put that link below in the comments.